Okay, ladies and gentlemen. So this video, I did mention in my short that I was going to do a full-length video on this, but I'm going to do a concept that basically pretty much everybody who has these three fragrances has done so far. And that is a comparison of all three Lattafa Khamrahs. Boy, the original Khamrah Qahwa and the new Khamrah Dukhan. Basically, I'm going to go through all of them. I'm not really going to go through the notes and everything. I'm going to tell you what the gist of it is. And then from there, all of the notes and everything is going to be posted in the description. So if you want to know the notes, you can look there, or you can go on Fragrantica because it's all on Fragrantica. So without further ado, roll that beautiful bean footage. Okay, so I'm going to keep this video short and sweet. Tell you what I think about all of them. Tell you which one's my favorite, which one's my wife's favorite, and also what does she think about all three, including the new one. So, first one is the OG. When it first came out, people were comparing it to Angel Share by Killian. And from my knowledge, a lot of people were saying this does not actually smell like Angel Share. I know what Angel Share smells like. I have a little small oil decant of Angel Share, and they're right. This does not smell like Angel Share. This gives a different take on the Angel Share DNA. It still gives that sweet, boozy aspect of Angel Share without actually smelling like Angel Share. You can wear it in the same scenarios, date night, the cooler weather, things like that. But does this smell exactly like Angel Share? No. So if you're tired of the Angel Share DNA, I would say get Khamrah if you want to venture off a little bit from the Angel Share DNA. Smells fantastic. Oh my goodness. Last, I would say on my skin, probably that 8 to 10 hour mark, and projection is going to be an arm's length for the first couple of hours, probably about 2 hours, and then after that it's going to die down to about a half of arm's length, but it never really loses a powerful projection. This is borderline beast mode, so I would not say go heavy on the sprays because it probably will be annoying to some people. It'll probably choke some people out. And I just would not recommend overdoing the sprays. So that's the original Khamrah from Lattafa. Then they came out with a flanker, which they were sitting around and kind of saying, how should we make this flanker? Should we make it kind of redundant, or should we make it a little bit different? And I'm glad they kind of ventured off and made it a little bit different with Khamrah Qahwa or Qahwa. This one ventures off differently because they did add a coffee note to make it a little bit different. Still, in my opinion, can be worn in the same scenarios. Date night, in the colder weather, things like that. This one, still sweet, but not as sweet because it does have that added coffee note. And you can tell by the gradient of the colors that it's kind of like brown, kind of like that coffee. Smell better than the original. So does my wife. She prefers this one over the original. But like I said, this one still can be worn in the same scenarios. If you're not a big coffee lover, this one would be for you because that's the main star of this fragrance is the coffee note. If you are a lover of coffee, then this one will probably be above the original. So I would say that if you get the original, can you still get Khamrah Qahwa or Qahwa? I would say yes, because it does venture off far enough to where both of these are not redundant. And that's also from the house of Lattafa, Khamrah Qahwa. Okay. And then the most recent one that just came out not too long ago this year is Khamrah Dukhan. If it can focus. I know the reflection is not really doing it justice, but trust me, it's Khamrah Dukhan. This one is their spicy take. A lot of people are saying this is a clone of the new Angel Serre Paradis. I'm not sure since the first two do not smell anything like Angel Serre. I'm not sure. I haven't smelt the new Angel Serre Paradis, nor do I really know a place that around my local area that I can smell it. I would probably have to go to New Orleans and go to like, Saks Fifth Avenue and smell it there, because I'm pretty sure that that's where I smelt the original Angel Serre was at Saks Fifth Avenue. So maybe one day when I go to New Orleans, walk around the French Quarters, I'll go there and smell that, compare it to this. But this is their spicy take on the Khamrah DNA. When you first spray it, to my nose, now to your nose it may be different, so take this with a grain of salt, but to my nose, I don't really get too much of the spicy notes right off the bat until it dries down after a few seconds. Then I start to get some of the spiciness of it. I do love it. It still stays true to the Khamrah DNA. A lot of people say that this is redundant to Khamrah Qahwa with the coffee, but I do not think these smell alike at all. So that's just my humble opinion. I'm not knocking off anybody, so I'm not going to point anybody out and say, hey, this person said that, what are they thinking? Because everybody's nose is different. But in comparing these two, I don't get a similarity. Now, comparing the original with this, I do get similarity. So if you have the original Khamrah, should you get Khamrah Dukhan? I would say no, because it is very redundant. It's just taking this original DNA, in my opinion, and just adding a little bit of a slight spiciness to it, which I don't think ventures off too much more than the original. Now, if you have Khamrah Qahwa, should you get Khamrah Dukhan? I would say yes, in my opinion, because I don't think these two smell exactly alike, which the majority of YouTube is starting to say that these two smell alike. I don't know where that's coming from. I personally don't agree with that portion of it, but I think that if you're a fragrance enthusiast and you're a fragrance collector, all three serves their purpose. Now, what are those three purposes? Shall I say? I would say this right here is just if you want kind of that Angel Serre DNA with a little bit of a twist. If you just want the original Angel Serre DNA with a little bit of a twist, I would say go with Khamrah. You can get this from your local Burlington if they have them in stock. Usually when they get them in stock, they get a bunch. So you can get it for like $30-ish. So I would say if you just want the original Angel Serre just with a little twist, if you're tired of the Angel Serre DNA, you want it with a little twist because you love the way it smells, get Khamrah. Then, in my humble opinion, if you still think this is too redundant to the original Angel Serre's DNA, even though it's not smelling exactly like Angel Serre, and you want to venture off a little bit to the deep end and get something with even more of a little twist, I would say go with Khamrah Qahwa, because this one here has that added coffee note, which has nothing in common with Angel Serre. Oh, these smell so good. And if you do not have the original and you would prefer a little bit of spiciness to go with your Khamrah, because you still at that point do not want to smell exactly like Angel Serre, which, like I said, this doesn't smell like Angel Serre, but this one right here will serve the closest purpose to Angel Serre. So if you still want to go off a little bit while still keeping more of the originality of this, I would say then and only then go with Khamrah Dukhan. If you have the original Khamrah, I say this is redundant. But if you have Khamrah Qahwa, I say it's not redundant, because this one is a spicy take, this one is a coffee take, and this one is just the OG. This one set the base for the other two flankers. So, how does my wife feel about all three? Her favorite, obviously, is going to be Khamrah Qahwa, because that's pretty much what I've been noticing. That everyone's favorite is really the coffee take. In my opinion, I think the coffee take is the best one. I think it's sexy. I think it serves the right purpose to wear on date night. And I think it's my favorite as well. Her second favorite is going to be the OG. And then her third favorite, obviously, is going to be Khamrah Dukhan, which is not really that far different than her take on this one. So these are kind of almost neck and neck. I'm going to wear this one more often now because I just got it and I want to do full wearings to see how it goes, to see if I get those differences or similarities from these. But at the same time, this one right here, I just don't think it's that far different from the OG. You know, in my opinion, I do agree with her take on it. So that's how I would rank all three of them as well. But which one shall I say you should get if you wanted to only choose one? I'm going to smell it one good time, in no particular order, and then I'll let you know that. So this is Dukhan. Again, amazing scent. You know, not knocking off any of them because they're the best Lattafa, some of the best scents that Lattafa can make, even though Lattafa has quite a few scents. You know, you can't go wrong with Lattafa. Dukhan. And then the OG. Beautiful atomizers. Okay, so if you want to keep it safe, I would say get this one. And like I said, if you want to venture out a little bit, get this one. And if you're just all about the new and you want to kind of get a more masculine fragrance, because some people say that the OG is too feminine. And even this one, they say is too feminine, even though it's not. I think they're all good masculine fragrances or good unisex fragrances. But this one is the most masculine. So if you want the most masculine one, get the new one, because the spicy take does lean more masculine. But overall, I would say just keep it safe and get the OG. If you want to only just choose one, I would say just be safe and get the OG. So that's been my take on all three Khamrahs. The original Khamrah, the coffee take on Khamrah Qahwa, and then the spicy take on Khamrah Dukhan. As I always say, tell a friend to tell a friend. Mother, sister, father, cousin, brother, everybody, whoever, whenever. I don't care. Just tell them that Davinci the poet does poetry and sim reviews. I'm out. Peace, salute, and God bless.